We are rolling.
Good morning. Welcome back to the conversation. This is Pointing Out the Obvious. This is our news and politics webcast, our daily take on what's buzzing today. I'm your host, Patrick Russell, and over there is my very opinionated producer, Veronica. Together, we're here to quip and quiver through today's headlines, searching for the real, no matter how deep in the swamp we need to go. Happy Manic Monday to you, Veronica. Boy, the RNC, they never seem to stop baffling me with the crazy things that they end up doing, to include last week, at the end of the week, censoring both senators, Republicans, Liz Cheney, as well as Adam Kinzinger, for being the only two Republicans with the bravery enough to stand up and say, hey, we need to find out what happened in that day on January 6th to make sure that it doesn't happen again. For the posterity of history, we need to make sure, for the protection of our Republican, we need to make sure we understand how this developed, how this came about, find out the truth of what happened, and make sure that it never happens again. For that, they're being censured by their own party for being a part of what the Republican National Committee calls now, hey, this was just proper political discord is all that we saw. Well, at least it elevated from a field trip that some Republican congressman first wanted to describe what happened on January 6th. At least now we're to a point where we're at least calling it a discord. But now it's just an appropriate measure of political discord, at least when it comes to the peaceful demonstrators, whoever they were. On the videos, I didn't really see anybody so much peaceful marching on the Capitol. But apparently, in the minds of Republicans now, they're playing the gamut that there were the violent sort, right, that they don't support at all, but they're not even willing to name by name exactly who that would be. Antifa is the only group that they're willing to say out loud in public who they believe the bad cast of characters might have been. Dare you say Trump supporters, they won't definitely say that. But then you also have the peaceful demonstrators that apparently were gathered there at the steps, hanging off the building of the Capitol, breaking in through the windows. Apparently there were some peaceful elements of that. I mean, proper political discord, I guess, was being shown on the same day. So once again, Veronica, we have a situation where truth and honor in American politics, they go to the RNC to die a horrible, embarrassing death. From a younger generation standpoint, how hard is it for you to keep history straight in your mind? Do you feel like because the spin has been so consistent, so powerful, and so methodical from the right, do you believe that as we move forward, history will look at January 6th as less of an attack on the Capitol and more of just a demonstration that went slightly awry? Your thoughts?
You know, Patrick, definitely we shouldn't be talking about the right or the left, Democrats or Republicans. We should be talking about the people. And I know it sounds kind of like, silly, but this is not about one or the other. This is about seeing what happened on January the 6th and seeing that it was wrong and we have to punish whoever did it, or as many people as, went into the Capitol and basically destroyed it. And we're not doing that. So I think we are playing stupid, believing that we don't want to name something that it is. And definitely Republicans are playing stupid by just thinking that they can just go on. And you know what it is that the idea is that they can go on without punishing anybody. And that's what makes me angry and sad, because if the people that went inside the Capitol on January the 6th were to be other type of nationality, color scheme,
darker,
whatever you want to call it, Latinos. Yeah.
The National Guard would have been called out a lot sooner, and live rounds probably would have been fired.
If it was Latinos, if they were black, if there were any other nationality but not Caucasians,
they wouldn't even gotten toward the steps before a live round would have been fired.
And guess what, Patrick? They will use force and they will shoot people, and we'll be okay with it because they're doing something wrong. Going inside the Capitol and destroying the Capitol, I mean, it's just not right. And when I read this, it's like, are we stupid? Even people that want Trump, even people that are Republicans, whoever, if I'm Republican, I'm Democrat, I'm not basing my knowledge, I'm not basing my response to one or the other. I'm basing what I'm seeing, and what I see was wrong. And nobody wants to accept it.
Well, and that asks a very deeper question of how is it that with our own eyes, with HD video from over 100 different angles, how is it that we still can't come to a consensus as a country as to what took place in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol on January 6th. It is astounding to me that even with so many different oral accounts, so many different videos, so many different hospital records to confirm the loss of life, the casualties, the insurance. Let's take a look at the insurance records for the Capitol. There is one. There's a claim. Let's take a look and see what's been described as the total destruction of the interior as well as the exterior of that building, and then come to some consensus as to what happened on January 6th. Still can't happen, Veronica, and I think that goes to show you just the depths of the unscrupulousness of the Republican National Party, that to not just maintain power, but now to also obtain the power, they are willing to spin any truth into a calculated version of their spin so that they can now call it something else entirely. They want to call it something else entirely, and that's the part of this that I'm trying to at least highlight, that we're trying to highlight, is the fact that you have to stay abreast with your own efforts, reading the stories, reading the editorials, keeping up with the news, because if you just allow yourself to just be driven by headlines, depending on who's writing those headlines, you might be giving a completely different idea, perspective, and retelling of what actually occurred in not only our country's history, but actually your history as well, too, being an American. Final thoughts.
You and I go back and forth with, obviously, politics, and then having to understand that, I mean, we just have to do it right? But now, the saddest thing is that if you were to ask someone, right, a Republican, that believed that this episode was not wrong, they believe it, and that's what it's so upsetting and scary, because they actually believe that there was nothing wrong with what happened on the Capitol on January the 6th, and you're like, wait, I mean, one thing is to be Republican, one thing is to be Democrat, but another thing is, just as a logical person, as a person with a brain, you're not able to understand, hey, I mean, why are we playing stupid? Why are we wasting money? Why are we doing all these things that doesn't make sense when you are watching a video that tells you exactly what happened, and with 1 second you can recognize that that was an invasion of the Capitol, that they went in, they destroyed it, and people were injured and killed, so it's just, I'm just gonna leave it here. People are stupid and they want to believe what they want to believe, so simple as that. And then if members of the Republican Party decided not to move forward with this, we know who's behind all this, and we know why it's not happening. Simple.
Final note. We'll leave it there. Guys, there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, but there definitely is your opinion. Please don't just subscribe to the channel, even though we will be doing this back and forth on a daily basis, but lend your voice to the show. It'll make it a whole lot more fun. Guys, remember, it doesn't matter if you lean to the right, it doesn't matter if you lean to the left, as long as you're treating the person in front of you kindly, you just made the world a better place. Happy Manic Monday, everybody.